All right, we've got a cold email analysis for lead gen service for construction companies. Let's get into it. Hi, you may or may not know the majority of councils publish weekly and monthly lists of validated and decided planning application proposals. Thanks to the government's permitted development and prior approval schemes, these lists are listed. All right, so straight off the bat, all of this is really unnecessary. It's essentially waffle. There's nothing about it that interests me straight away. If I'm thinking, put yourself in the shoes of the reader, is this going to really excite them or interest them? Um, and just talking about something that's unrelated, it's not directly benefiting them, or got anything to do with them. Um, it's literally waffle. And you remember, you've got a limited time to capture their attention, right? They're going to see this, they're going to see like all these words and be like, I don't know, it's going to be too much brain power for them to, for it to make, for them to feel that it's a benefit to them. Okay, then you go on. This makes a pool of leads for construction workers. Okay, this is the first time here in the third sentence you've talked about pool of leads, but it's still not directly related. You said pool of leads construction workers, but it's still not directly related to how it can benefit them. Okay, so here is the first time what you said what you can do. I can provide a list of decided proposals that are relevant to you or your trade and filter out the jargon. Um, I think, you know, one thing is don't have jargon yourself. Keep the copy very basically written. As when I say that, more like if a 6-year-old can understand it, then it's good. Very simple, very straight to the point, small words, that kind of stuff. The list will come with addresses for the project, giving you. Okay, recommending a discount offer to improve. Okay, if this sounds interesting. Okay, so I please send you a free sample of what. Okay, so like just going through this, skimming through this, I don't even understand what you're trying to give as a free sample. A free sample is a very good way to offer something for someone to start the relationship. So at least you've got something that you can offer for free, which is good. So we're going to keep going with that, but we're just going to rewrite this in a way that um, makes them interested to want to receive that free sample, and you can start that relationship off. So a basic formula that I use is, I'm just going to put this here. A subject line, personal touch. I don't know what a subject line is. We can figure that out after, but something attention grabbing. That's the only purpose of the subject line, is to grab their attention. Ideally, if you're sending this to someone that you've targeted, that you've got some info on them, you add a personal touch. What makes that seem that you're a real human. You're not just a bot just sending automated messages. Ideally, like a personal touch and rapport. If you're doing this automated, then maybe you can segment it in such a way that, say they're from a certain city, if you segmented their location, if you segmented any other attributes, you can mention in that, like, hey, big fan of your work in X city, or I've seen your projects in X city, big fan, something like that. Then they know that you're actually keeping it relevant to them. Next is benefits. What's in it for them, right? This has to be really clear. They only care about this one question. What's in it for me? Why should I waste my time reading this? Why should I waste my time replying? What should I? Why should I waste any time getting on a call with you? Um, because even if you send someone for free, they still have to reply. They still have to write their address. They have to do this and that. It takes their time, and people's time is their most valuable commodities. We have to really respect that. I'm just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. Okay, 5 lines is fine. I usually keep it to 4 or 5. But there's many sentences. See, so this has 3 sentences. This has, they're long sentences. If I'm skimming through this, there's big words here. And when I say big, not that, not big as in like we can't understand it, but imagine like a 6-year-old is reading this. Even stuff like majority, validated, planning application proposals, they're just like too wordy. Government permitted development, prior approval scheme, right? Unless this is the jargon that your target audience will understand, but still, it doesn't have to be so formal, right? Keep it casual, keep it like as if you're talking to a friend. And the ultimate question you have to ask is, they don't care about you, they just care about what's in it for them. Okay, so after benefits, you give your credibility, because the next question on their head is, are you legit? Or they don't want you to think, you don't want them to think you're a crazy person on the internet. You want to add something that actually adds credibility. So maybe companies you've worked with, maybe um, results of what you've got. So like, we did this and this happened, this result happened. And if you don't have anything, it's fine, because obviously if you're starting off with this industry and you may not have anything, but find something that you've done before that you can relate it to. And even if you can't relate it to, make it in a way that you can, right? You can always find one thing that you can relate it to, a life experience, something, a company you've worked for before, name dropping things like that, right? Things that they'll recognize. And the last thing is a simple ask. So we got to make the friction really low, right? The resistance low, the friction low. The ask is simple. Your ask is, please reach out and I can send you a free sample of what you can expect to receive. You, with your ask, you need to be very direct with what you want them to do. Make it very easy. Essentially, you want them to just have one answer: yes, or okay, or I'm interested. And not please reach out, because then they're thinking, what do I say? And you don't want them to feel they have to write a paragraph back to you. They need to write one word or one sentence max. Hey, I'm interested, right? Not okay, this sounds good. Da, da, da. You don't want them to think. You want their thinking, their mental energy to be just quick, right? So it doesn't take any mental energy from them. And then a follow up, that's after you send it, you'll follow up with them. Okay, so let's see how I would rewrite this. So I'm trying to look for uh, the big benefit here, right? And we're gonna these. I need to read this again just to understand. Publish weekly, monthly lists. Okay, lists of validated application proposals. Okay, by the way, they don't need to know how it's happening. They just need to know how what it is they're getting. These lists, approved household extensions, make a list of construction workers. Difficulty is that these lists also contains numerous other applications irrelevant to trade. Okay, so you are getting a list with a lot of things and making it just for them. Filter out the jargon. This comes with this option, send targeted letters to these homeowners. Okay, this is a benefit for them. Addresses for the project, giving the option to send targeted letters to these homeowners. I recommend adding a discount offer. Okay, let me go for it. Obviously, you'll know the industry more. I don't know the industry, but I'm going to say how I would craft the cold email. And again, this requires testing. You've got to try this. You've got to try your own version, but go with this framework. Okay, so let's just go hello or hi. Personal touch. Okay, if you know them in a way, if you're targeting them very specifically and there's a reason you're reaching out for them, there's many ways. You can just say like, big fan of your work, love the way you did this, saw you here, you came off really well. Don't flatter them too much, don't grovel for their, don't be too what do you call it, like a fanboy. Essentially compliment them with confidence, even qualify them a little bit in the sense of, saw you there, it was really good, that was actually quite hard to do. I like what you did, that's usually really hard to do, so well done. Don't say that was so impressive, don't go over the top with it. Politely compliment them with confidence. So I'd say like, big fan of, it's more specific the better, because then they know that you're not just a bot. Big fan of your work in X city, whatever. I'm just going because I don't know. Okay. um, and the benefit, second, is what's in it for them. They're thinking, all right, well, why is this person emailing me? All right, so remember, with your benefit, you're giving something. So reaching out, as I have a list of, now the benefit, what is the list? The list of sample, well, let's just say, we don't have to use the word sample yet. A list of potential leads of homeowners in your area that might be interested in your business. Or if it's like a certain thing, like I know you're going after home builders, you could just say in home building work. As I want to send you, as I have a list of potential leads of homeowners, I think one good thing is to always justify why you're sending someone something. If you're giving someone a gift, You always got to justify it, because then they'll think, why is she giving this to me? It must be too good to be true. Um, Something like, you know, one of the perks of my job is to send this list to people I like. Send this list, send these leads. You can reword it. Okay, next is credibility. So then, whatever it is, if the more specific, the better. The lowest rung of credibility is something you have in common, same hometown, same school, same hobby. The next is something that's quite interesting, that's related to this. So maybe you've had an experience with home building industry that is related to this, that you can say, that they'll be like, oh, that's cool. The next is something that makes you look smart or talented, like, okay, I'm X this company. Uh, Here's my portfolio. I was featured in XYZ. I was X university or whatever it was. The next level is your kind of results that you've got, your success. My just off the top of my head, my podcast has got 1 million downloads. We do 1 million a year in revenue, something like that. Or what one good is companies you've worked with. If you can name drop big companies, so it's something like, let's just see. Um, if you haven't heard of us, we we've worked with, and then name drop like big industry companies, and send them a lot of these leads, something like that, or send them. The number is pretty good, hundreds of these lists a month. If you name 2 or 3 companies, and then your call to action, your simple ask, and then that could be, question to you is super simple. What's the best address for me to send you a sample, and also a promotion, a strategy for you to use to get more business with this list, something like that, right? You're giving them a strategy, and that's the discount here, like you said here. Whereas I recommend adding a discounted offer. That's basically a strategy. So you can just say, I'm giving you a list and a strategy. My question is, what's the best address for me to send you a sample? I would even You don't even need that to send you a sample. Then all they have to do is reply with their address. Okay? That's one kind of call to action. Another type of call to action would be, if you're interested. I'm just putting this below, so it's a separate one. If you're interested, say yes, and I'll shoot over more details, or you can say, or I will. That's another one we'll do. And I'll send over a case study to, so you can get a feel for what I'm talking about. And your case study is basically a video which explains this. Say you've got these leads, very simple call to action, headline, video, calendar, they book it in or whatever. You make it very easy for them. So I hope this helps. The general strategy is, always give them something. You're in a giving mindset with anything, right? You're here to start a relationship. Your job is not your job in the cold email is not to get the sale, right? It's not to get the sale. You're not trying to sell them already on a one email. Your job is to start a relationship and convert a cold prospect into a warm connection, a warm lead. Cold prospect is a stranger. You want to start a relationship and convert them into a warm lead. Then your interaction starts. Then you can go back and forth with each other, but then you can get them on a call. Then they'll see what you've got is really good, and then your relationship starts. So, try this, test this framework out. use this framework here, and essentially don't go over the top, but just think, what is it in what why would they benefit from this? Put your head in their shoes, and think like that. So hope this is helpful, and yeah, let me know if this works, and try this. Thank you.